Okay, guys, how are you? In our scientific and technology session, we try to have some insights on scientific methods and their procedures. Okay, and we said last time that uh, in a scientific method, we have about 5 to 7 steps, and one of from those steps is the experiment. You do some experiment to test a hypothesis as we have defined and stated last time. So, what is an experiment? Is what's an experiment? Uh, Experiment is a deliberately imposed uh, treatment on individuals in order to observe their responses, or it is simply a controlled test on some subject. So the subject, when it is treated within a control system, we observe some scientific outcome. And the purpose of an experiment is to reveal the response of one variable to changes in other variables. The distinction between explanatory and responses variable is essential. The second point we raise here is what makes an experiment scientific. Is that one, the variable. Variables are that that vary in our experiment and that can be changed uh, when one entity changes and or that cannot be changed when some entity changes. Variables can be divided into three parts. One is independent variable, the variable which is purposely changed, and the dependent variable, the variable which changes in response to the independent variable changes. So uh, there are three variables. The third one is the controlled variable, as it is stated here in number 6. It is sometimes known as placebo or normal condition or standard for comparison. And this variable is known as a control variable. There are also some constants that we incur in our experiment, such as the factors which are kept the same for all control groups, whether it is uh, uh, for placebo or for normal condition or for standard comparison or for independent and uh, dependent variables. They remain constant throughout the experiment. Uh, Experiments are done in a step-by-step way and procedure. Some of the experimental procedures are as listed in this table. One is the purpose. You write the purpose of the experiment in the first place, and uh, to uh, uh, to find out the aims or the objectives of your experiment, you have to use some materials. So the materials must be listed in your experimental procedure. And what is the hypothesis you are going to test should also be included in your experimental report. The procedure you use, the step-by-step actions you handle the experiment can also be included in our experimental procedure. Then you finally uh, have the results in your experiment. You list down your results in your experiment, either tabulated or in some other way of putting your results. And finally, in your experiment, you have to you need to conclude what you have got in testing your hypothesis in your conclusion part. These all are the steps of